Hi, I'm Tanya, and for a while, my story was like a fairy tale gone wrong. My mom passed away when I was a kid, and my dad remarried right away. A mean, nasty woman with two daughters several years older than me. Sound familiar? Yeah, my life pretty much became Cinderella. My stepmom, Penny, hated me but loved her two daughters. She would spoil them rotten while treating me like dirt. She didn't care that they bullied me. She bullied me too, and my dad was at work so often that he didn't even seem to notice. My stepmom even started making me do housework. Horrible chores like scrubbing the toilets and taking out the trash, and she never made my stepsisters do anything. I was shocked by how a fairy tale written so many years ago could so accurately represent my life. Minus the part with the talking mice and the bluebirds coming to help me do chores. My best friend, Stephanie, tried to encourage me. She'd remind me that I only had to live at home until I was 18. Then I could go off to college and start a new life far away from my wicked stepmother and stepsisters. You have amazing grades, she said. You'll be able to go to any school you want. You could go somewhere across the country, across the world even. Stephanie was the only person keeping me sane as my stepmom continued to treat me cruelly while letting my stepsisters get away with murder. I told my dad about it once, but he just said that blending families was an adjustment. Give them a chance, he said. Your stepsisters have had a rough time since their father left. I'm sure Penny's trying to make it up to them by indulging them. I hated that he took their side. If I was Cinderella, then where was my fairy godmother? Where was my Prince Charming? I knew the answer. That stuff only happened in fairy tales. In reality, nobody rescued you from your awful life. Especially not princes. When guys asked me out, I told them I was too busy for a relationship. In reality, I was scared. How could I expect to have a good relationship when my home life was this bad? As high school wore on, I continued to get perfect grades. I did some volunteer work, which got me away from my house and bulked up my resume. Once it came to start applying for colleges, I thought I had a good shot at getting a scholarship. When I sent in my applications, I was so nervous I was shaking, but I was also excited. Soon, I'd be able to escape. I was so excited. I made the mistake of telling my stepmom what schools I'd applied for. She was angry I'd picked schools so far away. I didn't realize I had a responsibility to my family and should stay close to home so I could continue to help around the house on weekends. She said if any of those schools accepted me, I had to turn them down. I told her I was almost 18 and would go to college where I wanted. She called me ungrateful and said it was a good thing my mom hadn't lived to see how spoiled her child was. I was horrified. I ran out of the house and went to Stephanie's to calm down. Stephanie had some friends over that night, and it actually made me feel better to socialize a little. I met a guy named Dave who was really nice. We talked all evening and had a ton in common. He had also applied to all the Ivy League schools, and Brown was his first choice, just like me. He offered to walk me home, but I was nervous. I couldn't let myself like this guy. A messed up person like me couldn't have a relationship. I made some excuse and went to say goodbye to Stephanie. She asked about Dave, but I said it wouldn't have worked out. She told me my stepmom had already ruined so much of my childhood. I shouldn't let her ruin this too. I realized she was right. I found Dave again and told him he could walk me home. We even kissed outside my house. I was so afraid to hope things would work out, but we started seeing each other more and more. I told him about my stepmom and stepsisters, but instead of thinking I was a freak, he was sympathetic and even offered to come over and help me with my chores when my stepmom wasn't at home. The more I started to trust him, the more I realized that the best way to stand up to Penny was to have my own life. But could I really believe Dave would stick around? The day I got my acceptance letter to Brown was the happiest of my life. I'd received almost a full scholarship. I called Stephanie, and we both screamed with joy. I was finally getting out. But what about Dave? Then Dave called to tell me he'd been accepted there too. I guess we'll be seeing a lot of each other, he said. I was over the moon. Later, he texted that I should come over. He wanted to show me something. His parents weren't at home, and he decorated his living room with candles and strings of lights. It was a little messy, but I was still impressed. He said he wanted to dance with me to celebrate my incredible achievement. So he put on some music and we danced, laughing and trying not to bump into furniture. I realized I'd finally found my Prince Charming. Maybe this part of being Cinderella wasn't so bad. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments. And be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel.